There is one question that scientists have never been able to answer, and that is, where do we go after death? Some believe in the afterlife, and some believe that there is nothing else after death. When it comes to Christians, there is the belief in heaven and hell, where you will have to be judged before you know your fate. Well, as for one Colton Burpo, he claims to have seen heaven. Colton claimed that he had been to heaven and back. But how true is this? Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we will look at the true story of a boy who died and came back with a story that left the whole world shaking. However, this is a story you're going to have to see to believe it. Before we continue, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to our channel for more intriguing stories. And with that, let's find out what happened to this boy. People all over the world were captivated when the story of a little boy named Colton Burpo made the headlines. Colton claimed that he had visited heaven during a near-death experience. This story became so popular that they even made a film about it, Heaven is for Real. However, Colton's story spread like wildfire when his father, Todd Burpo, wrote a best-selling book by the same name. But what really happened? All this happened when Colton Burpo was only 3 years and 10 months old. He was a very sunny child, born into a preacher's family. Given that his father was a preacher, he would be taught more about the Bible as he grew up. This made him confident in his faith and his eternal fate. However, he fell ill, and his appendix burst. In the first hospital that the parents took Colton to, the doctors could not figure out what was wrong with the boy. The boy was laid out in the hospital, and as Colton lay in the hospital bed, Todd, his father, claimed that he saw the shadow of death crossing his face. As Todd explained what he saw, he said, "I recognized it instantly." After seeing this, he claimed that Colton's face was covered in death. Eventually, Todd and his wife Sonia took the sick boy to another hospital. In this hospital, the parents were told that the boy had no choice but to go for surgery. The surgeon said to them that he's not in good shape. And as Colton was being wheeled into the operation room, he screamed for his father. Todd was scared about the boy at the moment, and he fled from there. He found an empty room, locked himself in there, and started railing at God. Less than 2 hours later, the surgery was done, and the boy was awake. But upon waking up, he was still shouting for his father. And the moment Todd got to where Colton was, Colton said, "Daddy, you know, I almost died." By the time the parents were leaving the hospital to go home, they knew nothing. However, as the months passed and the boy recovered from surgery, his parents eventually came to hear the boy's story. The boy went on to explain to them that while he was in surgery, he went to heaven and met Jesus, who would then go ahead and assign him homework. As the boy was explaining what he saw, he explained that he came across angels, a rainbow-hued horse, John the Baptist, God the Father, and even the Holy Spirit. However, things got out of hand when he started explaining that he had met his unborn sister, who his mother had miscarried before he was born. This came as a shock to the entire family because they had never told him about that. But that's not the weirdest part. Colton claimed that he even came across his great-grandfather Pop as a young man. He explained that he had just walked up to him and told him that he was his great-grandfather. He clearly saw a lot of things, claiming that everyone here had wings, but his were the smallest of all. During his stay there, he claims that he learned that the righteous, including his father, would fight in a coming last battle. This story sparked a lot of interest among everyone, including religious people. However, they would all have dismissed this story as the medication-induced hallucinations of a severely ill toddler. After some time, the Burpos turned this story into a book to spread it all over the world. Heaven is for Real, which is the book's title, was published in late 2010 and became a word-of-mouth bestseller. Shortly after its release, it spent 59 non-consecutive weeks as the #1 nonfiction paperback on the New York Times bestseller list. When Colton was 12, he was an ardent spokesman for the story and its franchise. He had even promoted it in a slick trailer and on various talk shows with his parents. But even with all this, it was Todd who wrote the book. In the end, before Colton came back to life, he said that Jesus returned him to earth as a concession to Todd's supplication. Todd said, "We knew he wasn't making it up. He could tell us what we were doing in another part of the hospital. Not even Sonia had seen me in that little room having my meltdown with God." One of the ways that the story was authenticated is that Colton was very much aware of his parents' whereabouts. The moment he said this, Todd knew directly that what his son was saying was entirely true. If Colton hadn't gone to heaven, how would he have recognized a photo of Pop, who was 29 years old and had never seen him before? Todd wondered. There are a lot of things that all justify the fact that Colton really went to heaven. How would he have known that angels had halos? How else would he have known that Jesus wore purple and that he had markers, which turned out to be marks, on his hands and feet? Why is it that after this experience, Colton wept a lot to a babysitter about the sister that he missed if he never even had the idea that his mother had a miscarriage? This clearly demonstrates that he went to heaven. However, some theories work against this. It has been said that children's visions when they are in a near-death situation are often based on what they already believe. And from culture to culture, these experiences involve bright light, celestial figures, and a sense of watching your own body from above. They might even involve all three. According to Kevin Nelson, a neuroscientist and the author of The Spiritual Doorway in the Brain, when adults are in such situations, they often look back over their lives. However, this is not the case for children, given that they lack perspective. They tend to start talking about castles and rainbows, often filled with pets, wizards, and guardian angels. And like adults, they see relatives and religious figures as well. It is quite hard to convince anyone who grew up without the idea of God just how fully the language, stories, and logic of the Bible can dominate a young mind, even that of a toddler. Many people can give examples of this when their kids claim they see things they only imagined. So, is heaven real? Do you think that Colton really went to heaven and came back? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments section below. And while you are here, leave a like and subscribe to our channel for more intriguing stories. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.